What up, motherfuckers? It's Wednesday night, which means it's time to review AEW Dynamite up in this bitch. You understand what I'm saying? I just watched the show. I finished watching the show. So I'm going to talk about it right now. It's a little bit of a late review. I think from now on, I'm going to try to make the reviews happen like almost immediately after the show ends. You know what I mean? God damn it, this thing's making noise. Hold on. Yeah. So, and I'm going to do a lot more videos, I think, starting this next week. So Monday, probably a video before my Raw review, and then we're going to have the Raw review, motherfuckers. And the reason for that is it's almost there, motherfuckers. Royal Rumble's around the corner, snitches, which means WrestleMania season and all the copiers are upon us, right? I'm excited to see what people are going to do. I mean, obviously, I'm excited to see what WrestleMania is going to bring, obviously, right? But then I want to see what other companies are going to do to counter program, you know, as they always do. You know, when I went to WrestleMania myself, there were so many people that I saw that had like Ring of Honor shirts and things like that. And a lot of these shirts on them said like Ring of Honor, you know, and they had the date of the show, which was the date before WrestleMania, basically. It was like the night before, you know? So I'm excited to see what's going to happen with that. But yeah, like I'm also excited to see how it's going to shape up because I feel like every year, once it gets close to WrestleMania, they take less and less time to like set things up, you know? Like the Royal Rumble is in like 2 weeks and there hasn't been any like kind of rivalries started. The only thing of relevance is that Brock Lesnar's entering the Royal Rumble. You know what I mean? Like usually there's like at this point, there's a few people that have like solidified themselves as being favorites, right? This year, no one really has, right? There's been people that have been on like a big win streak, like Rowan and Drew McIntyre, but they've just beaten jobbers. So there's no reason to think that either of them have, and they don't, but there's no reason to think, to believe it, right? Like 1 year, I think it was the year that Benoit won, right? There was like people in the company who had like such good years where they were dark horses, but it was not inconceivable. And as crazy as it may sound, people like Carlito and Chris Masters, you're like, all right, these guys could feasibly win. I mean, like, it's unlikely, but it's possible. It's in the realm of possibilities, right? Because they were these two people that were positioned as mid-carders that were soon going to be in the main event. And that's kind of what happened. Like, Chris Masters had a pay-per-view match against Shawn Michaels. You know what I mean? Like, there was a point where that guy was, like, legit important. And now we don't really have any of that. You know what I mean? That element doesn't exist anymore. So now it's like, it's obviously going to be Roman Reigns. You know, I don't see anybody else, winning it. Maybe Daniel Bryan, but like, isn't he just getting another title shot? So what's the point? You know, like he's not even going to be in the Rumble probably. So I don't know. Like, I guess we'll see, but I'm not excited about it, you know? And like all these matches and rivalries, like I remember in like Royal Rumble 2000 when The Rock won, right? It clearly the story was going towards The Rock versus Triple H. You know, clearly. Big Show was in there in the mix, and it wouldn't have been inconceivable for Big Show to win, right? On the other hand, Mankind was wrestling Triple H. So again, unlikely, it looked like Triple H was going to main event WrestleMania, but it could have been Mankind, you know? And it turned out it was all four of them. But the point I'm trying to make is that the ball was rolling way before that. You know, like you could even argue that at Survivor Series when Big Show won the title, right? That the ball started rolling there. You know, he had his title run, and The Rock was like, "You're a loser," basically, and that created that rivalry. Meanwhile, Triple H was like doing whatever the fuck he wanted to do, beating up The Rock, Stone Cold. There was like a storyline in place, right? Now there's no story. Like, does anyone really care who the Fiend wrestles? And does it really matter? It's gonna be the same story. The story's gonna be, oh, Daniel, like, you know, the Fiend wants to get you. Now, replace Daniel Bryan with literally any other wrestler and the story would be the same, right? Whereas, like, in the past, stories had a purpose. When Chris Benoit won, for example, right, the whole story was, like, before he even won, there was this idea that Benoit could never win the big one, you know? Paul Heyman was like, you're not even going to be in the Rumble, you know? So there was a setup, right? From the beginning, there was a story. He didn't just declare himself, I'm going to be in the Rumble. He had to like go through a storyline where he wasn't allowed to be in the Rumble, and then he found his way in, and then he won at number one. You know what I mean? We don't have any of that, but you know, whatever. It is what it is. Let's get to this video. So before we start talking about what happened today on AEW, you know what I'm saying? Let's do some shout outs here. All right. I got a few new subscribers. I'm going to miss some of you because I've been very active in posting and other things. So my alerts are off the charts. So if I miss you, I'm sorry. Please leave a comment, and I promise I'll get to you next video. But we got new subscriber, Lich Richard, motherfuckers. Lich Richard. Lich Richard in the house. This guy kept talking to me called MW. MW, if you're listening, I actually enjoyed our little banter. Like I still don't know what your avatar is, some weird rapper or whatever. Nobody knows who the fuck MF the rapper is, but it is what it is. You're not a bad cat. Like you're not a bad cat. I was probably wrong about you up this. You know what I'm saying? What else we got? There was some girl, Chelsea Silath, and Beefy Beef. Also get a shout out. Shout out to Chelsea Silath or Skillath. And maybe it's probably Silath, like scythe, like a silent C kind of. And Beefy Beef, I know how to pronounce that. Everybody knows how to pronounce Beefy Beef up in this bitch. You know what I'm saying? Beefy Beef, more like bitchy bitch, am I right? Just kidding. Anyways, all right, let's get to the show. I'm going to be honest. This is going to be, a lot of people probably not going to like this. But I thought this week's show was actually pretty decent. You know what I mean? Like, it was one of the better ones. It wasn't the best one, like the best one was probably like episode 2 or 3, I think it was. But it is a big step up from last week for a few reasons. Now, there's also a lot going on that was like the same old boring shit. But I'll be fair, it was not a bad show. So it opened up with Kenny Omega and Hangman Page versus versus Private Party, right? Now the problem with this, of course, is that we haven't seen Private Party in about 3 weeks, right? So I almost forgot that they exist. So that's a huge problem with AEW in general. They're not showcasing their talent, right? It's like they don't care. You have all these people in your roster, and you don't give a rat's ass. It's like every other week these people wrestle. Like, for example, Santana and Ortiz, out and proud, motherfuckers, out and proud, weren't here tonight, right? Probably because they're wrestling in like CMLL for like $30 so they can pay their bills, because AEW clearly is not having these people on full time. That's the problem with AEW. Like, they're definitely cutting costs. There's a few people like Dustin Rhodes, Cody Rhodes, Young Bucks, like the ones that actually have contracts that are here all the time. And then there's people like Ty Dillinger that I can only assume isn't here all the time because I never see him on TV. This guy, like, I don't even know why. I mean, no, wait a second. He didn't leave WWE. He was taken out of WWE because he was a jobber. But like, everyone was thinking this guy's going to be a huge star. Oh, Tully Blanchard is his manager. No, he's the same fucking jobber he was in WWE. And like, some of these people, they have records of like 2 and 3. You know what I mean? And they've been there since day one. And like 2 and 3, what have you been doing? Even Dean Ambrose's record is like 5 and 1 or some shit like that, right? The company's been around for like 4 months almost, or 3 months, whatever it is. It's been around for a minute, dog. Let's see. 1 month ago it was December. 2 months it was November. 3 months. It's been around for 3 months, 3 months I think. And these people haven't had enough matches. There's people that are there. Like, I don't want to say QT Marshall because he's like a fucking nobody, right? But I don't want to sound like a broken record either, saying that Jack Swagger and Wardlow haven't had a match, which, by the way, is inexcusable. Like, it's not gonna feel like they probably think it's gonna feel like a big deal when Jack Swagger makes his debut. No one's gonna give a fuck at this point, right? So, anyways, the fact that Private Party hasn't been around, or people like Sonny Kiss, Nyla Rose wasn't around this week, but like, there's so many people that they're trying to kind of like push or kind of have like stand out that aren't around. We have like a vignette for Kip Sabian, but how about we just see Kip Sabian? What the fuck is, like, why not just show him and have him have a match against Joey Janela and conclude that bullshit feud? So anyways, that's the thing I didn't like. The match itself, I thought actually was pretty decent. Aside from the criticisms that I have every week about people like Kenny Omega, even JR said something. He was like, Omega is very animated, which is exactly what I've been saying for fucking weeks now, that this guy just does 20,000 taunts, and he's not a good wrestler, man. He over-exaggerates all his emotions. It's ridiculous. It's like Dolph Ziggler. People are like, Dolph Ziggler is great. No, Dolph Ziggler is a loser. Dolph Ziggler gets like DDT'd and does like 7 flips and sells it like he just got shot out of a cannon. Doesn't make any sense. You have to have some sort of realism. I remember there was like when Braun Strowman debuted, I forget who, I think it was Roman Reigns, right? He put Roman Reigns in this like reverse sleeper that he used to do, right? And Roman Reigns, or maybe it was Dean Ambrose, I don't know. Like, the person just passed out. They didn't flail their arms, they just passed out quietly, right? That's how you sell something. People are like, oh, Dolph Ziggler's a great seller. No, he's not a great seller. A great seller is someone that gets kicked in the head and falls down like a real person would, It's not this like Hangman Page clothesline someone and they do a flip. What are you talking about? Who would do a flip? No one's that strong to make you flip, right? Like, if you're gonna do that, then you reserve the flip move for someone doing like if JBL came in and clotheslined like Marco's stunt, then he can do a flip. I understand that. That's actually somewhat believable. Even then, it wouldn't be believable, but it's more believable because JBL's like a 320-pound guy or whatever, 280-pound, whatever, somewhere in the upper 280s, lower 300s, motherfuckers. You know, like clotheslining this guy who's like 110 pounds, right? But in the context of Hangman Page doing it to like Isaiah Cassidy or whatever, the guy shouldn't be flipping. You know, so aside from these like bullshit things that every TNA match has, I like this match primarily because it did actually tell a story and it told it the right way. This could have gone so wrong, right? Because they're teasing this idea that Adam Page is not quite on board. You know what I mean? And I don't really like that because it's like so like foreseeable. You know what I mean? Like TNA, whatever, AEW, like their biggest problem right now, aside from like all the problems that I've mentioned before, their biggest new problem is their predictability. You know, like for a company that wants to pretend they're fresh, they are so predictable it's not even funny. You know, you could predict every match and who's gonna win. But this match was one that you may have not predicted correctly because, like I thought, for example, that Adam Page would turn on Kenny Omega. Now, this is going to happen, like, invariably. It's just going to happen later, you know? Something like Adam Page is turning heel soon. It's written in the stars, right? So, or maybe Kenny Omega turns heel, the fuck knows, but someone's turned heel, motherfuckers. So, with that in mind, the story of the match was, like, this potential miscommunication between Adam Page and Kenny Omega. And they teased it a few times, right? But, like, it was good and bad because Adam Page went to do the buckshot lariat and he was about to hit Kenny Omega and he like stopped, right? And the announcers were like, oh, he stopped. And like, I'm thinking to myself, okay, it's good that he stopped, but if he had hit Kenny Omega, this wouldn't be a good, like, you know what I mean? Like, he hit Kenny Omega shouldn't be pissed off. It's like, dude, you obviously fucked up. And at a certain point, Kenny Omega catches the foot of like Mark Quinn or Isaiah Cassidy and flips him and the guy Pele's Adam Page. And then Kenny Omega's like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. Like, what are you supposed to do? Get kicked yourself? No, you're going to try to throw the guy, right? And the guy countered it basically and hit your partner. There should be no hard feelings from Kenny Omega and Adam Page from that, right? And the good thing was that they won the match, right? And it showed that they have some sort of solidarity, right? Now, this can easily be undone. If next week they do the same thing, but then Adam Page turns heel, then ignore everything I just said. This was bullshit, right? This heel turn has to be done correctly now that you've established this miscommunication segment as not being a viable thing. Other highlights of this match were the horrendous commentary. The commentary was one of the worst tonight, right? JR at some point says about these two tag teams, they're like, tag team wrestling has never been more dangerous. I'm like, what? Are you insane? What are you talking about? Like, have you heard of the Dudley Boys and the Hardy Boys? Tag team wrestling hasn't been more dangerous? Like, what the fuck? That doesn't even make any sense. Even in your own like organization, there was like a street fight or two between like Proud and Powerful and some other, or whatever, Out and Proud and some other team, you know? There was like, I think the Young Bucks. We've had like ladder matches and things of that nature, you know? So like, to say this is the most dangerous like element of tag matches is ridiculous. You have legit like dangerous matches in AEW, and definitely not outside of AEW. You have teams like the Dudley Boys that were powerbombing people through flaming tables, man. Are you fucking and that's like the Dudley Boys powerbombing someone through a flaming table is less dangerous than Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn? Come on, man. Isaiah Cassidy is like this skinny fat guy. Like Devon and Bubba Ray would powerbomb him through a table and end his career. You know, hopefully that's what they do one day. Anyways, what else we got? At a certain point, what else? Page and Omega win, like I just said. They win after hitting like a V-trigger to the back of the head at the same time being sandwiched with a buckshot lariat. Kenny Omega hits the one-winged angel and wins, right? Now, again, this match was all right because there weren't any botches. Private Party is good. Private Party is a good tag team. I like them a lot. They hit their finish, so and I love their finish, the gin and juice. I like it a lot. But the other problem I have is that this match is exactly like every other tag match. We've seen it before, motherfuckers. We've seen it before. Like, and if you oversaturate the market with one thing, in this case, the same match, people don't want to see it again. Like, I guarantee you in the next month or two, we're going to have some sort of Young Bucks versus fucking Lucha Brothers feud. I don't want to see it at all. I don't give a fuck, man. I'm done with that. So that's another problem. Like, you have these long matches that are the same exact thing, you know? Kenny Omega, for all this hype that he gets, you know, people are like, oh, he's so great. This guy has 3 moves. He has 3 moves and he did 2 of them today. Yeah, like he didn't even do his third move, the Snapdragon. This guy, all he does is running knees and then the One Winged Angel. That's all he did today. That's entirely what he did. He didn't do anything else. So this bullshit about like, oh, Cena has 5 moves of doom. Omega has 3 moves of doom. Nakamura has literally 1 move. Oh, sorry, he has the little belly to back flipping suplex thing. Then everything he does is knees. Like he doesn't do anything, man. So this like, yo, Nakamura is so great. Nakamura is not great. Like, WWE's holding him back. No, they're not, motherfuckers, because I've seen his New Japan matches. It's the same fucking shit. It's just like someone's running at him at the corner, he jumps up and knees them. Then he climbs the turnbuckle, does a diving knee. Then he does another knee. And then he like knees the guy in the head. Then he knees him in the body, you know? And then he does like a forearm here and there maybe, right? I don't even consider these moves. I don't consider like a knee a move. I mean, the Kinshasa, I guess, is his finishing move, but like a forearm. Like one time I was arguing with his beard online, and they were like, oh, Finn Balor has so many moves. And I'm like, no, he doesn't, motherfuckers. Finn Balor has 3 moves. And they're like, no, I'll list them. And they're like, drop kick to the corner, drop kick to the outside, forearm, running forearm, forearm to a downed opponent. I'm like, are you fucking insane? These are not moves. Like, first of all, they're variants of the same thing, but I don't even consider that a move. Now, to me, if anyone here has played any WWE game, you know, especially the recent ones, you know that there's 2 kinds of offense. There's striking and grappling offense, right? If you press square on PS4, you do a normal strike. Any move that can be chosen for that is not a move, right? Maybe like if you hold square or down square or something like that, and you do like a drop kick, all right, that's a move. But forearms, kicks, kicks to the belly, stomps, things like that, like the 10 count punch, right? These aren't moves. Like it's kind of like saying the suplex is a move. The suplex, well, actually, it's not because suplex is a move. But you know what I mean? Like everyone does a suplex. Everyone climbs the turnbuckle, basically, right? At some point in the career. So what I'm saying is, I'm talking about moves that are associated with this wrestler, right? Moves that are either belong exclusively to this wrestler, or moves that this person does all the time, right? Like, or at least does once in a while, you know? And they're associated with him. It's like, oh, look, new move. Like Cena does a little thing where he like a little half Nelson backbreaker, right? Like that's a move that like it's not exactly like a Cena move, but only he does it. You know what I mean? So Kenny Omega and Finn Balor and a lot of these New Japan guys, honestly, they only have 3 or 4 moves, man. There really aren't that many people that have a lot of moves. So this bullshit about Cena has only 4 moves, Orton has 3 moves. Yeah, Nakamura has 2, and Tanahashi has like 1. And Okada, all this motherfucker does is do clotheslines, misses drop kicks, and then he does like some bullshit like it's like an AA basically, but he does it not as good as Cena and all this other bullshit. Like it's bullshit, man. Everyone has 3 moves. You know, there's very few people that don't have 3 moves. Everyone has 3 moves. So get over it. You know what I mean? Oh, Roman Reigns has 2 moves. Yeah, you know who else has 2 moves? Goldberg, motherfuckers, and he's one of the goats. So you can suck a fat one as far as I'm concerned. Anyways, next we had like while this match is like in the ending stages. They show in the back, they show Pac, who is wearing his entire ring gear, right? He didn't have a match tonight, right? But he's wearing his ring gear, and he has the brutalizer on what they said was Michael Nakazawa. And he's like yelling at Kenny Omega. He's like, I want my rematch. I want a rubber match. I want a rubber match. I think he wants more than a rubber match. I think he wants a rubber up his ass. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, I don't like this at all because why would Kenny Omega deny this guy a match, right? Like, they had their rematch and Kenny Omega won. And Kenny Omega's whole thing was like, yo, like Pac, you owe me a rematch because ever since you beat me, I've never been the same. So why not give the man a rematch? Like, why does Pac have to resort to this, you know? Plus, has Kenny Omega said at any point, I'm not giving you a rematch? Like, has he ever articulated this? No, Pac's just like, I want a rematch, Kenny, right? Kenny's not the authority figure. Kenny's not the one who's making the matches, presumably, right? But he's beating up Michael Nakazawa every week to goad Kenny into a match. But we have yet to establish that Kenny doesn't want a match with him. You know what I mean? Like you have to establish premise first to get to the conclusion. Motherfucks. And this is stupid. Also, the fact that he's in his ring gear can only mean to me that he performed on A.W.E Dark, right? But if you're gonna do that, you immediately go back, you take a shower, and you wear at least like a t-shirt and pants, right? So it looks more street, it looks more real, and it explains why you're dressed the way you are. You know, it doesn't make any sense for him to be like in their knee pads just doing this. It's fucking stupid. But anyways, I'm not looking forward to that match. I couldn't give a fuck. The fact that Pac doesn't wrestle unless it's that match is kind of weird too. I haven't seen him wrestle in a while. So he can suck a fat one as well, as far as he can suck a pickle. You know what I'm saying? Next we had Riho versus Statlander, so automatically you knew this match was going to end either in some sort of roll-up or screwy pin type situation. And if you thought that, you would not be wrong. Now, this match was not a good match because Riho is one of the worst wrestlers of all time, and Statlander is not interesting and sucks ass. Statlander, more like suck-ander, am I right, motherfuckers? So anyways, but as I was skipping this match because I didn't want to watch it, I noticed that Brandy and the Nightmare Circle Collective family came out, the Nightmare Circle Collective Order of Darkness came out, right? And basically they were going to interfere, right? They want Statlander to join, but they interfered to fuck with her because she doesn't want to join, right? And this was just so horribly done. First of all, Statlander goes out, Awesome Kong is there, right? Awesome Kong attacks Riho or some shit. And it's just Statlander and Brandy Rhodes. From under the ring appears this fat man who's bald, right? He's the guy that's been appearing in the vignettes, but I had no idea this guy was actually going to be a wrestler or a character, right? I thought he was just kind of like the Dark Order has their gimps. I thought he was going to be like just gimp number 3 of like Brandy's weird thing, right? But no, this fat man comes out and Excalibur, the Mark, that's Smart, I should say, identifies him immediately as Luther, who apparently does death matches in Japan. Okay. JR's like, are we sure it's Luther? JR was like, JR especially didn't give a fuck today. JR was like, are we sure it's Luther? Well, if it is, then that's weird, Like, he didn't even know who the fuck it was again. And JR, like I know that you don't give a fuck, JR, but at least pretend you do, man. JR has like a podcast every week, I think. I'm not sure about that. Don't hold me to that. There's a podcast every week. He should be knowing what's happening in wrestling. Like, if a fucking Smart, like some idiot, like I may have mentioned this in another video. Some guy in some video I was commenting was like, well, are you saying El Santo thing? But it was like El Santo or Ricky Chosen or whatever aren't big deals, and I'm like, I don't know who the fuck that is, right? Like I told you guys the story before. I'm like, I don't know who the fuck that is. If this asshole knows who El Santo is, JR should know who Luther is. JR should know more than Excalibur, man. Who the fuck is Excalibur? So, anyways, JR didn't know, and this was just ineffective because Luther came out. He pretty much held Statlander so that I think like the bald broad, I think her name is Mel, so Mel could clothesline her, right? And then that's it. Rhea went up to the top turnbuckle and jumped on this fat bald guy, took him out immediately. You know what I mean? Like that was his only contribution. He didn't like influence the match, really. Like the match ended when Awesome Kong pulled down Statlander's legs and Rhea landed on top of her and pinned her, right? Typical Rhea match. Now, if you're gonna introduce this new guy, he should be the one that pulls the legs. He should be like, oh, weird and creepy, and Brandy should like caress his head or something like that. Not like he just comes out, does nothing, and then Awesome Kong is the one who solves the problem. And then Awesome Kong and Mel go in and beat the shit out of like the other two girls until Hikaru Shida comes to make the save. So no one cared. And then after that, like that black girl, what's a Big Swole, who I forgot existed completely because she had one match and then she was gone, right? Big Swole comes out and then Sonny Kiss comes out, who's a dude. What the fuck? It makes no sense. Like, why is like I get like he like looks like a girl, but why is he there? He's a dude. Why is he gonna like fight Brandy Rhodes? It doesn't make any sense, dog. So, anyways, that was a complete and utter waste of time. Didn't like it at all. Then we had another shit match. Sammy Guevara, Sammy Guevara over here beats Daniels with like a little small Sammy Guevara super kick. The whole point here was this: Pentagon Jr. comes out. Now I could have misheard this, but if I didn't mishear this, this was the dumbest thing I've ever heard in a wrestling show. Pentagon Jr. Cero Miedo comes out and taunts Daniels. He was like, come on. He doesn't speak English, man. This guy's like, come on, show me you can do. He reminded me of Yoel Romero from UFC. He's like, come on, show me you can do it. Show me you can do. Show me you can do. And Daniels is like, oh my God, like this guy in Daniels' head, right? He's like, oh, I don't know if I can do it. And then like Excalibur's like, he wants Daniels to do the Arabian press moonsault. What? How did you get that from this fat guy in a mask being like, you do it, do what I want, do it. And like from Pentagon coming out and being like, oh, do it, I want you, can you do it? Show me you can do, right? Just him saying that, Excalibur's like, oh yes, he wants him to do the Arabian moonsault press. Like, wow, what a very, very specific thing to request, first of all. 2, he didn't fucking say anything about that. And 3, Excalibur, how the fuck does he know? You know what I mean? I need to go back and watch this because if this is true, actually I'm not going to watch it, but if one of you knows what I'm talking about, please comment downstairs, motherfuckers. Please comment downstairs and tell me if I heard it wrong or something, because I hope I did. Because if that's what Excalibur said, he should be fired immediately. You know, or maybe sent to the back like Dio Madden. You know what I mean? After Brock Lesnar F5'd him, which I didn't like. I like Dio Madden, motherfuckers. All right, then but the worst part of this match was the way that Sammy Guevara won, because Daniels was distracted momentarily, right? Sammy Guevara kicked him in the knee or whatever, then did like a super kick and pinned him. Right? This was stupid, because last week the premise was Sammy Guevara's like, you can't do it anymore, Daniels, and now like we're switching from that to Daniels versus Pentagon again, because Pentagon pile drove him like 7 weeks ago. Jesus Christ, why is Pentagon after him? But like, are the Lucha Brothers heels or faces, man? Make up your minds, you know? So whatever, it is what it is. Dark Order comes out. Nearly forgot about them because we haven't seen them this year at all, motherfuckers. So they come out and they try to recruit Daniels, who just lost. Daniels says, you can go fuck yourselves, throws the mask back. They start whooping his ass, but then they get the Young Bucks and SCU make the save. Scorpio Sky does like a tope con hero, motherfuckers, which I thought was cool because it kind of came out of nowhere. He just did it. Then Daniels hits the BME, and that was like kind of weird because just the Young Bucks got their revenge on the Dark Order. Clearly, it's going towards Dark Order versus Bucks, and then Dark Order versus SCU. In my opinion, SCU should be the first entity to drop their titles because like they've wrestled a lot, you know, and they're not good champions. Simple as that. Riho is not a good champion, but she hasn't been around that long. So it's like, all right, like when someone beats her, it shouldn't be on a throwaway like Impact or throwaway Dynamite. You know what I mean? Because she hasn't been around enough, you know. So there you have it, motherfuckers. Then Lucha Bros have a match against Star and Goldust. Now, I'm not going to lie. This match also was kind of decent. Now, if you take away the fact that it was a boring, same shit, 15-minute match where we have to tolerate 1 minute of Pentagon, Pentagon, more like Hexagon, am I right, motherfuckers? That guy's too big, if you ask me. So when Pentagon had to pull off his glove and do the little glove Cero Miedo spot, the match was like action-packed. I really am impressed at Goldust and how good he is at his age. You know, there's people out there who are like, how old is he? He's probably like 50, right? There's people out there like Kurt Angle, you know, is probably like his age. And Kurt Angle doesn't move nearly as well as he does. You know what I mean? Like, part of that is the fact that, like, you know, someone like Goldust has been active wrestling for a long time. And Kurt Angle, you know, he entered this period of, like, inactivity. So, you know what I mean? Like, I kind of get it. Kurt Angle's 51 and Goldust is 50. That's fucking weird that Goldust is so young, honestly, because he's been around for so long. So anyways, yeah, the match was all right. Goldust did the Destroyer, which is now one of his moves. Cody hit the Cody Cutter, and then eventually Goldust hit the Final Reckoning, it's called now. The Director's Cut, as it was called in WWE, or what was it called in TNA? The Schizophrenic, motherfuckers. The little suplex thing where he twists into a neck breaker. He hit that, and he pinned one of the jabrones. You know, Lucha Brothers, I mean, they have these matches with the Young Bucks, and they beat the Young Bucks, and they can't beat Cody and Goldust. You know, whatever, right? It is what it is. The match was all right, I'm not going to lie. And then after that, Arn Anderson comes in, and Tony Schiavone comes in, and Tony Schiavone's like, Cody, are you going to accept MJF's, like, ridiculous, like, demands? And then Cody's like, well, and then Arn's like, we're going to think about it and get to you next week. And I'm just like, that's fucking stupid. Why would you do that? Like, we know he's going to say yes. You know what I mean? Like, 100%. And that's the problem. It's this predictability that I'll talk about in a minute when I'm done talking about this review up in this bitch. You know what I'm saying? Then DDP comes out for absolutely no reason, right? No reason. Like, nobody knew, like, why is he out, right? MJF and Wardlow are in there. DDP comes out. He's more charismatic than both of them combined. And DDP basically says that, like, since he had that moment with them with the ring, fucking, what's it called? He, what was it? Yeah, like, people have been wanting for him to, like, wrestle, right? So, all right, cool. You know, DDP's cool about that shit. So he's like, yeah, I'll wrestle you motherfucks. So, they start fucking around. Butcher and Blade come out, right? These guys are already jobbers, in my opinion. They come out. DDP quickly performs 2 diamond cutters on those 2 jobbers, right? And then Wardlow and MJF start beating him up after a low blow. The people that make the save are QT Marshall and Goldust. So I believe the match is Butcher, Blade, and MJF versus DDP, QT Marshall, and Goldust next week at A.W.E Bash at the Beach, motherfuckers, which is going to be fucking horrendous. So anyways, I didn't like this at all because I don't understand why DDP feels the need to come back many weeks after to make this point. You know, this is something you do the next week. You don't wait 3 weeks and you're like, ah, we have nothing better to do. Let's just do this. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. Then we had Best Friends and Orange Cassidy versus Jurassic Express. This was stupid because people like Orange Cassidy and Marco Stunt shouldn't be in wrestling. And those are the only people that I remember doing things. You know what I mean? Like Marco Stunt, I was the only person I remember. Luchasaurus didn't do shit. The match ended with a Jack Perry, like Hurricane Rana pin, right? Stupid, complete garbage. And then the last, and in my opinion, least, we had Dean Ambrose's response to whether he will or will not join the Inner Circle. Now, I'll just go over this very quick so I can make my real point here. He said, hey, I'm going to join because I want to dominate. And then afterwards, he was like, I lied, motherfuckers. Right? He pulled an Eddie Guerrero, he lied, and then he DDT'd Sammy Guevara, and he DDT'd Jericho. All right. Now, anyone could have seen this coming, you know? As soon as he came out, I pressed pause, wanted to take a piss, right? Because I was watching on DVR. And then I noticed that it was 1 minute and, 1 hour and 52 minutes. So he had 8 minutes left. So I knew he wasn't just going to DDT them. I knew they were going to drag ass with this. So they dragged ass, right? And nothing was served here. Nothing, nobody cared at all. Everyone knew what was going to happen, you know? So with that in mind, Dean Ambrose can suck a fat one as well. I did not like this at all. Which brings me to my next point, which I will actually make another video just now to talk about that because some people I'm sure are like, I don't want to hear about that bullshit here. So we're going to make another video next. Shout out to all y'all motherfuckers. Keep getting it dirty, you know what I mean? I almost have 300 subscribers. So what are we going to do when we hit 300 subscribers? You know what I mean? What are we going to do? I'm not sure what we're going to do, but we're going to do something, you know, maybe that end of the year awards. I'm still doing that, motherfuckers. So, yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video in about 3 minutes. Go fuck yourselves.